and Ontarians alike. And with that, please welcome the man with the vision and the plan to protect our economy, Ontario's Premier, Doug Ford. Thanks so much.
Let's go, Dougy.
Thank you.
Hit that like button if you love Trump
everyone,
or
it's
Canada.
A real pleasure to be here
or
today
China.
Alongside Minister Lecce, Minister Oosterhoff, and MPP Patrice Barnes and Lauren Coe and Will Boma, which is my parliamentary assistant for intergovernmental affairs. And Will, I know you've been busy, but before I begin, I want to acknowledge the Boilermakers, all the team here at OPG, and I want to congratulate Nicole for being the CEO of the Ontario Power Generation. That's a big job, and my champion, Mayor Foster, as well. Mayor, you're hiding back there. But I'll tell you, he's an absolute champion, and a big thank you to an incredible team at the Ontario Power Generation for hosting us at their Darlington nuclear facility, and for the critical work they do day in and day out, powering our province. Thank you. Friends, in less than 2 weeks, a new administration will take office in the White House. This transition marks a pivotal moment for both Canada and the United States. That's why, over the past few months, I've been meeting with congressmen and women, U.S. senators, and governors from every region of America across both sides of the political aisle. I've promoted Ontario's close economic partnership with the United States, a relationship built on nearly $500 billion in balanced two-way trade, and have raised concerns about the 25% tariffs President Trump is threatening on goods and services entering the U.S. from Canada. These tariffs would be devastating for both of our economies. They disrupt deeply integrated supply chains, create massive uncertainty for investors, raise costs for businesses, and put countless jobs at risk on both sides of the border. It doesn't have to be this way. We can achieve so much more if we work together, and Canada needs to do its part. First, we need the federal government to invest in our military to meet and exceed our NATO funding commitments. Second, the federal government needs to turn words into actions by implementing its border security plan. This needs to include permanent funding increases for the RCMP, the Canada Border Services Agency, to put more boots at the border. And we need highly visible activity to give our U.S. allies the confidence they need that we're doing our part. Ontario is also stepping up. Yesterday, we launched Operation Deterrence, our plan to crack down on illegal cross-border activities. Led by 200 dedicated Ontario provincial police officers, they'll work alongside frontline and specialty officers with access to drones, helicopters, fixed-wing aircraft, boats, off-road vehicles, and foot patrol, all dedicated to protecting the safety and security of families and communities on both sides of the border.
Let's go.
As I've met and talked with U.S. lawmakers, I've also been listening. I've heard significant concerns about how China is ripping off American workers by hijacking global supply chains to unfairly benefit Chinese companies at the expense of U.S. industry and American communities. I've heard loud and clear, America has had enough. Now, U.S. lawmakers are undertaking one of the most ambitious economic and geopolitical shifts in decades, as America decouples from China and its global proxies. This won't be easy. It will require long-term thinking, it will require dedication, and most of all, it will require friends and allies. Canada's here to help.
Yeah, right,
Working together, Canada and the U.S. can be the richest, most successful, safest, most secure countries on the planet.
Let's go.
Working together, we can usher in a new American and Canadian century.
Canada, America,
a time of unprecedented growth, job creation, security, and prosperity. We do so by building Fortress AMCAN. Fortress AMCAN is a renewed alliance between America and Canada that's a beacon of stability, security, and long-term economic growth on both sides of the border. Fortress AMCAN is a vision that respects each country as proudly independent, a vision that celebrates what we can achieve together, a true partnership where Canada and the U.S. align on shared priorities, achieving free, fair, and balanced trade, growing our economies, accelerating resource development, and protecting our borders and our communities. A cornerstone of Fortress AMCAN, this renewal alliance involves achieving energy security to power economic growth on both sides of the border. Ontario is already taking bold steps. We're leading North America's largest expansion of nuclear energy, including the first small modular reactor in the G7. We're refurbishing reactors at Darlington and Pickering, and we're launching historic energy procurements to meet growing demand while preparing Ontario to become a major exporter of clean energy. Already, our energy grid sends enough electricity to power 1.5 million homes in the U.S., including states like Michigan, New York, and Minnesota.
Let's go.
But to build Fortress AMCAN, to realize this vision, there's more work to do. Fortress AMCAN should be powered by energy of every type. Energy that's produced, consumed, and creates jobs in every region of our country. It starts by enhancing and building out the integrated AMCAN energy and electricity grid to encourage more exports of Canadian energy and electricity to the U.S., including Ontario's clean nuclear energy to power economic growth on both sides of the border. To do so, I'm urging the federal government, U.S. lawmakers, and industry experts to join us in a new cross-border working group with the objective of cutting red tape and aligning the regulations that slow down building cross-border energy infrastructure, including transmission lines and pipelines, and to ensure both countries adhere to the best practices for power system security, protecting us against foreign interference, cyber attacks, terrorism, and extreme weather events. I'm also urging the federal government to help us achieve AMCAN energy security sooner by streamlining the approval of new small modular and large nuclear reactors while protecting safe operations. As we do, we also need to build new and reinforce existing electricity transmission lines and the natural gas and oil pipelines that underpin our integrated energy and electricity grid and promote the flow of energy across borders. With these measures, we can power our economic growth, including new power-hungry data centers and artificial intelligence with clean and reliable energy, fueling economic growth across Canada and America while creating better jobs with bigger paychecks here at home. Friends, Fortress AMCAN is an ambitious plan. It won't be easy and it won't happen overnight, but we owe it to workers in Ontario, across Canada, and the U.S. to act now. Many of these initiatives will require the federal government to step up to ensure that energy, trade, and security policies serve the best interests of Canadians and Americans alike. We will do what we can as a province, but the federal government will need to do their part too. Together, let's stop wasting time and ridiculous ideas about merging and instead focus on efforts on restoring the pride of Made in Canada and Made in USA. Let's be unapologetic as we stand up for Canadian and American workers against the world. Together, let's usher in a new American and Canadian century. Let's build Fortress AMCAN. Thank you for everyone joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario.
May the gods
We will now open
bless.
the floor for questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Good morning, Premier. Mark McAllister from City News.
Hi, Mark. How you doing?
A lot of talk from you today about Canada as a whole rather than Ontario specifically. Just wondering why you feel the need to step up and speak on behalf of the entire country.
Well, right now, I've been blessed to be the chair of the Federation, and I never speak on behalf of all premiers. I always get a consensus, and we are meeting today. And we look forward to sitting down, making sure that we have a strong plan moving forward. There's a lack of leadership right now at the federal government, and someone has to stand up for Ontario, someone has to stand up for Canada. And I want to congratulate all the premiers, because they're doing the exact same thing as what I'm doing in their jurisdictions, and I appreciate everything that all the premiers from all the provinces and territories. We have a great group of premiers, fabulous, and I'm fortunate to have a great team representing Team Canada.
The term Fortress AMCAN, you've been using it for a number of months now. Is there not a danger of it being misinterpreted in some way? You've now got the president-elect talking about an artificial border. He could be looking at Fortress AMCAN very differently than you are.
Well, very, very simple. The people I've been speaking to, be it the governors or the senators or Congress people, even if they're Republican or Democrat, they don't agree with what President Trump is proposing. Our country's not for sale. It will never be for sale. But I think we work together, have an incredible trade deal. We could be the most, richest, wealthiest, prosperous, safest jurisdiction anywhere in the world if we work together. We have the critical minerals that they need. We have the energy they need. We have a lot of things that they need. And, some Americans may sit back and think we can go it alone. Well, a message to my American friends, which I love, you can't go it alone. You know something, if this goes through, these tariffs, it's going to hurt millions of Americans. It's going to hurt millions of Canadian jobs. It's better we work together, take on the world, and we're unstoppable.
Morning, Premier. Lane Harrison, CBC News.
Hi.
What do you think, or how much do you think Trudeau can do to deal with Trump, given he's on his way out of his job?
Well, what we expect from the Prime Minister, we sent him a letter the other day, and he's agreed to meet in person on next Wednesday. And, the message is, you need to do everything you can to stop the tariffs. We need to see your plan. We need to see the plan that you announced on border security. There's one thing to put a plan out there. There's another thing to see absolute action happening. So we're going to hold his feet to the fire until the day he's no longer Prime Minister. He's still Prime Minister. He still has a responsibility to make sure that we avoid these tariffs at all cost and make sure that he secures the border and commits to the 2% NATO funding.
When it comes to that looming change, Trump cares much who is Prime Minister of Canada, or do you think he kind of just has it in for the country in general?
Yeah, I can't speak for President Trump. I can tell you one thing, that we have a strong group of premiers representing the country right now. We're going to head down to Washington, I believe it's the first or second week in February, and we'll be representing Canada proudly. And we have a great relationship. Folks, as you know, this is all about building relationships. I'm on the phone every single day with governors, congresspeople, and senators every single day. And they're great people. They aren't saying a word. And I have a lot of friends in the U.S. I speak to. Not once have they said, Canada is the problem. I'll tell you who the problem is. China's the problem. Shipping in cheap parts into Mexico, and Mexico slapping a Made in Mexico sticker on it, shipping it up through the U.S. and Canada, costing American and Canadian jobs. That's unacceptable. And Mexico has to make a decision. You're either with Beijing or you're with Washington. I can tell you what Canadians are with. We're with Washington.
Hi, Premier.
For sure,
Alison
I'm with
Jones with the
Washington.
Canadian Press.
Hi.
The president-elect said yesterday that he doesn't need anything from Canada. So what makes you think that you'll find a willing partner to this plan?
Well, with all due respect to the president, whose handle is who's misinforming him, right now we ship 4.3 million barrels of crude oil down to the U.S.
I'll be right back. I got to
60%